Thanks, Ryan. We're live now.
Thanks, Ryan.
glad you uh glad you let me know that. I would have been talking for an extended period of time and nobody would have known what was going on. So glad I could get that sorted out. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Ryan, Aiden, glad you guys could be joining me here. So I'll rehash what I was just saying a second ago because I was talking. I just didn't notice. I did get this. I labeled it. Flashing means mute so that I know. Because in my head, I always thought, whenever you're watching those old TV shows and they have the flashing red light, that always means like that the mics are on, so you can't say anything too stupid. So I always saw the flashing light, and I'd always like, does that mean it's recording or not? So I put the sign. Flashing means it's mute. So thanks for the heads up. Hey, Haley, glad you could be joining us today. We've got some fun stuff in store. And I'll go over a couple of them here in a minute, but I do have a few things just business wise. Feel free if you're watching to go ahead and let me know you're here on the chat. But also, I know some of you guys, if you're watching it YouTube, like I do a lot of times on the TV, you can send me a text. I've got my phone right here, and let me know because I know you can't type in and while you're watching it on a TV. Or if you want, you can just watch on both. You can have it on your phone so you can text in the conversation and watch it on the TV. Do whatever works best for you. So I don't know if Amy Wozni, Tim's mom, said she was going to be here. I don't know if you're here yet, Amy, but I don't want to say brag on Tim a little bit, but I'm just going to share one of the things I really love about Tim. And you guys have probably all experienced this at some point, and I think one of the reasons Tim and I get along really well is because we are both very excitable people. Like some of the stuff that we get so excited about and we'll get amped up, and like we would be in the office and we'd have like some idea of like, oh, let's fill balloons with flour and then try to pop each other's balloons. And like, we were like, that's the greatest idea. Let's go, let's do this. And our energy would be going and we'd get really excited about it. And just we find things in our life that just get us really excited. And I think it's really important to find things in life that bring you joy. And I know for Tim and I, it comes a little more naturally, but I know in this season of restlessness, this season of COVID, it's been a little more difficult. We've had to be a little more intentional, seeking out things that bring us joy. And I just wanted to let you guys know I have officially hit old man status. Like I am a legitimate old man. I know you guys let me know that every once in a while. I have old man tendencies. But I just got super, super excited about probably the most old man thing. I ordered something in the mail. I couldn't wait for it to come. I couldn't wait for it to show up. And it was like, I just realized, Richard, that is a very, very old man thing to get excited about. But I was so excited about it, I'm going to share it with you guys. That's how ridiculous this is. So I don't know if you guys watch any of the home organization shows. I know like last year, maybe 2 years ago, Carolyn and I watched the Marie Kondo show, Tidying Up, and I went through and organized all of my stuff. And I like getting things nice and organized. And Carolyn was I think she was on Instagram, maybe she was just watching YouTube, and something popped up and she just goes, Richard, look how organized people's fridges are. And it was like, just like so it must've been Instagram, and she was scrolling like these organized fridges. And in my head, I thought our fridge is pretty organized, but like, it feels different than these people's fridges. And I'm looking through, and one of the culprits, I know that a lot of people don't have this issue, but you guys know I'm a type 1 diabetic, and that means I have to keep my insulin vials refrigerated. So at any given time, I have 12 or so of these boxes in the fridge. So you know that little spot where people keep cream cheese and sticks of butter, that open and close section of the refrigerator. It's usually jam-packed with those. So then those random knick-knack things that usually, people keep the extra Chick-fil-A sauces in there and their sticks of butter. So I have like all of my diabetes supplies, and then I have a stick of butter. That's all that fits in that section. But I was So that's one culprit reason we have to keep a lot of that stuff somewhere else, or just because I have those random things. But then I realized, I looked at our refrigerator and I realized we had a lot less space in our drawer for in our, not our drawers, a lot less space in our door than all of these people did. And I looked and I realized we had one less thing, like shelves in the door than there should have been. So like there's the butter one, and then there was one shelf, and then there was one on the very bottom. I realized everybody has an extra door. Like all these refrigerators had an extra thing, a space in the door. So I went online and I ordered us another door, and it just sits right in there. So basically, bam. All of these random things that we had to be just sitting on the shelf of our refrigerator, like in the refrigerator, had a spot. And I was like, wow. But I was like so excited about this ridiculous thing that I'm actually sharing it with people. Yes, I got super excited, old man status, about a new shelf in my refrigerator. So everybody, that was my excitement for the week. But I don't know if you guys are like me about things get you really, really excited. And one of the great things about this season of life is there is a sense of delayed gratification for things. Before COVID, you needed something, you went to the store, you bought it, you came home immediately. But now, Amazon is quick. They get you your printer cartridge overnight, right? But there is a sense of delayed gratification in a lot of things. So one of the things that we're not, I guess we don't always live by all the time, but this last year has been, is like when we need something, we realize the need for it, we order it, and then we have to wait. If it's Amazon Prime, we have to wait a full day. If it's somebody else, you have to wait a week, sometimes 2 weeks, you never know. And every once in a while you order that one thing and it kind of peculiarly, like, why did that take like 2 months? Where did this come from? We get stuff that takes a while. But Carolyn decided the other day, and Carolyn is very different than me. Like, I get really excited about things. So like for me, this refrigerator shelf showed up in the mail, and like within like 10 minutes, I've got it unpacked, cleaned, restocking the fridge, right? Whereas Carolyn, like, she'll get something in the mail and she'll let it sit there for a day or two before she opens it up. And then I was like for me, my anticipation is building. I'm getting excited about it. I want to see what's going on. I have to admit, usually I'm let down because I got all amped up, like, oh, what's in Carolyn's box? What did she get? And then it's like, oh, great, nail polish. Very exciting. Not super stoked, but I'm sure some of you guys would be excited about Carolyn getting nail polish in the mail, but not too exciting for me. But the other day she decided she already told me she was getting it, so it's not like it was a surprise. I didn't know what it was going to be, but she just decided, I don't know where, I made a little spot for Jazz, but she decided she wanted to get Jazz a new toy. And one of the toys that we had for Jazz already that's pretty fun is we had this little guy. It kind of reminds me of a Pokemon ball, right? But it's got a little button on it, and you just press the button, then you set it down, and then it rolls around. It works on carpet. And Jazz likes to chase it around. So he's had that. We got that maybe a year ago or so. And she decided she wanted to get him a upgraded version. So this guy has a feather on top of it. It kind of reminds me of a little robot, but it gets super intense. I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks something just turning it on. Definitely have to make sure we don't keep it too close to like his water bowl, because it'll full on smack it. But I'm going to let you guys see how this thing works. But Carolyn ordered this for Jazz the other day, and we were pretty excited so it goes for 10 minutes, and then it turns off for an hour and a half, and then it'll go for another 10 minutes. So, post COVID, when we're gone all day, we'll be able to set this guy out. It'll keep Jazz entertained for, 3 or 4 times while we're out of the house. So check this guy out. I'll start it back here. Hopefully it doesn't run right off the table immediately. Your stream will stop immediately and you will no longer be live. Not yet. So it almost turned off the live stream. So now I know I have to not let it run over the computer keyboard over there. So yeah, it'll sit for a second. It'll come over and play with it, and then it'll roll around, do all sorts of things. But he really does love it. See, I don't know where he... Hey, Jess. Come on, Jess. Jess. Hey, Jess. Come here, Jess. He's coming over. You guys are going to get in. Nope, he's not entertained. Maybe he's hungry. I do have some treats in my pocket. Hey, Jess. Jess. Oh. He's not being a very friendly, not friendly, but he's a shy host today. Let's see if we can't get him up here. He doesn't like it when I play with this thing. Maybe he'll jump up for that. I pulled the, usually his cat tower is over in the corner 3 feet that way. So I think he's a little timid about it being in a different spot than usual. Let's see if I can't get him on the screen for you guys. Nope. He doesn't want to have anything to do with the show today. We'll see if we see him today. Okay. Well, I just wanted to share his new little toy with you guys. He has enjoyed it quite a bit. Oh, here he is. There we go. He's not very entertained. He's not being a very he was very there we go. Now he's into it. So Jazz likes to be the center of attention, so he'll no doubt try to hang up on the live feed here in a second as well. But Jazz says hi. Hello, Emily. Glad you could be joining us today. We're not going to let Jazz hang up. So that was it for just sharing with you guys some of the stuff that gets us all excited. I'm really excited about my refrigerator door, which is super old man status, but Carolyn was really excited about ordering Jazz a new toy. So, so I tried, he's got a pretty good hold of it. I'm not very good at multitasking. I can't play with a cat and talk to you guys at the same time. Here you go, Jazz. Don't knock it off the counter. Carolyn won't appreciate it if we broke it without her. So for those of you that are just joining us, I was just sharing some of the new things that we have. You might be noticing we got some new lights. I've been working on the lighting for our scene of Restless. I just have these cheap little color lights over here. They're light bulbs that connect via an app, so I can change the colors if I can find it. But just trying to make the scene a little more fun. Last week I noticed the lighting was really dark, so I was kind of stuck in between two things. Either I was really, really bright and it was like blinding lights, or it was too dark. So I think I'm trying to find a balance between the two. So let's see. Here we go. I'll change the light. Yeah, so that one changed to green, blue. So I had them on like a pinkish purple. there is an option to make it like a whole bunch of make it change. That's a little chaotic. You guys want chaos on both sides? I can change both of them. I'm not super fancy, so I can't make it so that they're on the same scheme. Oh well, that's gonna drive me nuts, so I'm gonna change that one back. But yeah, just playing around with the lights, trying to make our set a little more fun. Fun for all of us. And just going to transition into our game time. So what I have for you guys today is it's not memory, but I'm going to basically, actually, first off, thank you to everybody who came out last week for our awesome student ministry family dinner. We had so much fun hanging out in the parking lot, eating dinner together. Basically, each small group got a parking space. Each family got a parking space. We hung out 8, and that was our bi-weekly student ministry hangout. So what we're going to be doing in 2021 is every other week we'll be doing in-person events. So last week we met for the student ministry dinner, and then this week we're online for Restless. And then the following week, so next week, we're going to be doing a family movie night. So guys, 6:30, bring food for yourself if you would like. 6:30 down in the lower lot, bring a lawn chair. We're going to be watching a movie on a big projection screen. We're going to be watching How to Train Your Dragon. I got my own little dragon here, Jazz. And we're going to hang out. And we're going to have a great time just watching a movie. Feel free to invite your friends. It's a very great opportunity to just meet and gather together, but also we're going to be socially distanced. Everybody will have to wear their masks the entire time, except for when they're consuming food. Once again, just like last week, don't use eating as an excuse to not be wearing your mask. Just eat your food and then put your mask back on. And it's going to be awesome, just opportunity to hang out. So we're going to be doing every other week in-person events, and then the weeks that don't coincide with the in-person events, we'll be meeting here at my house for Restless. So not you guys aren't meeting at my house, but you guys are going to be with me on YouTube. So I'm glad you guys are here. So our game for today, it's actually pretty difficult. And at first I didn't think it was going to be that hard, but I recognize the fact that it's probably somewhat difficult for you guys to read these directions because they're kind of small, but the pictures are not that difficult to see. But I'll explain how this game is going to work, and you guys will get the hang of it in no time. So basically, there's going to be 2 pictures split by a line in the middle. And the way the game is going to work is there is one item that appears on both sides. So you guys need to be looking at the picture, trying to figure out what item appears on both sides of the screen. And you're going to look as fast as you can. You're going to be try to be the first person to type in the correct answer in the chat. So I know that sounds pretty difficult, but you guys are going to be able to get the hang of it. And just so you know, just so people don't cheat and just start typing everything they see, you only get one shot. So if you just say, hey, I'm going to type everything I see and hopefully get one of them right. No, it's going to be, if you only get one answer, first person to get the correct answer in there wins. So basically, reiterate the directions once again real quick. Look at the screen. There's going to be a picture on both sides, and you have to try to find the common item between the 2 sides. So just to make it a little more difficult, the pictures are always going to look the same, but they won't always be the same size. So like you can see there's a big old frog right here. There might be a frog on this side, but it might be smaller. So the size changes, but the objects do not. And the pictures will be a little bigger. This is just an example screen. So if you guys don't have any questions, get ready to answer in the chat. First person to get the correct answer wins. I recognize the fact that if you're watching this in replay, you won't be able to compete against each other. But just go ahead and try to find them as quickly as you can. So this is kind of funny, we got Jazz this fancy, awesome new toy, and here he is down here. He's just really, really excited to be playing with the microphone box. He loves all the stuff we're ordering online because he gets lots of boxes to play with. Okay, here we go. First question. Here we go. Ready, set, go. Okay, so you're trying to be the first person to type in what is on both sides of the screen. I'm waiting to see it on the chat. Oh, Haley, good job. Haley got that first. Abby, you came in second. But good job. Oh, I guess that's weird. Emily, I didn't even. Okay, you guys are good. Okay, I'll give that one to Emily and Haley. I didn't see them both. I didn't see. You guys did a good job. That was quick. Good job. Okay, we'll give Emily and Haley a point on that one just because that was my fault and I called out too quickly. You guys did a good job, though. Here we go. So, yes, it was the volleyball was in both pictures. So, once again, you see different sizes, same picture. Here we go. Next one. Abby got that one first. Yes, it was the bomb. One there and one there. Good job. So, okay, good job. So, Abby, you didn't get a point for the last one, even though you were pretty close. So, we'll give Abby the point on that one. Here we go. Next one. This one's kind of difficult because it's hard to tell what it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys struggle to tell what the answer is, even if you can see what it is. You got to look close. Yes, Haley, it is a penguin. So for those of you guys that, if you're looking on a small screen and you couldn't tell what that is, I can see why you wouldn't be able to tell what that is. But yes, it's the penguin. We've got one penguin there. We've got one penguin up there in the top left corner. So good job. Here we go. Next question. Focus your attention on the screen. I'll try to get out of the way. Here we go. Who's going to get this? Ryan Thomas chimed in with the win on that one. Good job, Ryan. That is a phone. Or wait. Yeah, Ryan. So we actually have 4 people with points, I think, at this point. Everybody's chiming in here. Good job, guys. I love the spreading of points. It means you guys are all highly competitive. You're doing a good job. So yes, it is the phone. Here's the phone right there, and then the phone right there. Different sizes, same thing. Here we go. Next one. We'll see who gets this one first. I have the chat up on the computer. Oh, Abby got that one. Ooh, that was close. I got 3 of you guys almost at the exact same time. So well done, but that one went to Abby. I got Abby's message first. I guess that's the message is kind of like hitting a bell in a game show. It's whoever's message I get in first. I'll call the winner. Sorry if you have slower internet, but it is what it is. So good job, Abigail. I think that's 2 points for Abigail. Here we go. We got a couple more here. Next one. Oh, yeah, it's showing the sun. One there. Okay, next one. Here we go. Ready, set, go. That was a rough start. I find I get the answers faster on Lightning. Haley, yes. Sorry about that one, guys. My shoulder was actually blocking it to start off with. I had to swivel over. But yes, Haley, you got that one correct. Lightning. So that's at least 2 points for Haley. Haley, is that 2 points for you, or is that your third one? I think that was maybe your second, not sure. But you guys are all doing a great job at this game. All doing a great job at this game. So I wasn't sure if people were going to say a bolt or if people were going to say lightning. So Abby said lightning bolt. So that was a little bit of both. Here we go. Next one. I'll get out of the way in advance on this one. Oh, here we go. It shows you the lightning bolt. Next one. Here we go. Ready, go. I'm looking forward to see what people write. Paint. Aiden, I'm going to give you that one. Yeah, paint or splat. Or, yeah, we got paint, splatter. We got splat, splatter, splat, paint. But Aiden got paint first, so we're going to give that one to Aiden because I realize that is a somewhat difficult to describe. What exactly is that? So we're going to go with Aiden got that point with paint, but you guys that got splatter, that's not a wrong answer. So good job, Aiden. Good job, Aiden. Here we go. Next one. We got 3 or 4 more here. So here we go. Yes, the answer was splat. Next one. Here we go. I find the answers come on. Because it can be difficult for me to see the screen over there at times for the chat. I've got the chat up on my phone as well. Oh, good one, Haley. Yep, that's the 8 ball. It's a ball. Yes, Haley, good job. But I find sometimes I'm getting the answers faster on my phone than I am through the computer. So I'm paying attention to who answers over here a little closer. But yeah, good job, guys. That was the ball, the 8 ball. So another point for, I think that was Haley, yeah? Yeah, good job, Haley. Okay, next. It's a tough pizza. Hey, good job, Emily. Hey, Emily, how does that feel to be the last answer for the last round, but the first answer for this one? There you go. Yeah, Emily, it is the pizza. It is the pizza. So we got one pizza right there and then one right there. Sorry if I was in anybody's way. I'll try to scoot over. Okay, we got 3 more rounds. Here we go. No, 2 more rounds. My bad. Here we go. Toothbrush. Oh, Emily got 2 in a row. Good job, Emily. Yes, that is correct. It is the toothbrush. Toothbrush. There we go. We got one toothbrush all the way on that corner and then one toothbrush right down here. Okay. This is our final one. Final one. Here we go. Ready, set, go. This is a tough one. I'm also realizing now that Emily got the last 3 points in a row for Emily. Yeah, this was a tough one. I liked this one a lot. It is the 8 ball. We've got one in the camera lens. That is an 8 ball in the camera lens, and that is an 8 ball right there. So if you guys are watching on TV and you're not able to comment, Hope you guys enjoyed playing this game, even though you weren't able to chime in with your answers. Everybody in the chat, thanks for playing. If you want, you can go ahead and chime in and say how many points you got in the chat. I don't know who won, but even if you did win, there's no prize particularly for this game, so you don't necessarily get anything. But you can brag about it with your friends, or say you're so smart, or do whatever you'd like with it. But congratulations. I think you guys were good at that game. I struggled. I had to look very closely for extended periods of time, but we've already been over the fact that I am an old man today. So that's it for our game today on Restless. So we've been on for a half hour already, and I'm realizing one of the things that I forgot this episode is I usually have a drink of some sort, whether it's a coffee or a Diet Coke, Coke Zero, or a water. And I'm like, man, I'm getting awfully thirsty, but I'll have to suck it up for the next 10 minutes or so as we chat and finish out our time together. So I'm glad you guys could join me for Restless. And earlier, if you guys came a little later, when we first logged on, I was talking a lot about how for me, one of the things that I not like about COVID, but one of the things that is different about this season is I'm not going out as much. So when there's something that I want, it's like I have to wait for it. Like, it used to be if I wanted something, I ran over to Walmart, grabbed it. Walmart's the closest store to our house. So if I wanted something, I could run to Walmart, or if I wanted something, I could go up to Costco and get it. And just to keep from going out a lot, we've been doing a lot of ordering of things. And I shared about myself and also Tim. One of the things that's true about both of us is that we get really excited about things, and anticipation is part of that excitement, right? Really looking forward to something coming. It's kind of like that same concept of like little kids at Christmas, like that in Buddy the Elf, when it's like, oh, Santa's coming, he's coming, right? It's the anticipation of things to come that we get really excited about. So like I shared about how Carolyn ordered the cat toy, and we're at home, like we're excited for this new toy for Jazz to get to come and play with, right? Or for me, my old thing that I was really excited about was I was excited about a new shelf to go in our refrigerator. I realized that our refrigerator was missing one of the condiment shelves in the door. And I always thought just we weren't very good at organizing our refrigerator. And then I started looking at how everything was in there. And at first I thought, oh, it's cool because you can just adjust how high up your shelves are if you want. And then I realized we were just missing a shelf. So I ordered a shelf, and then I got it, and I was excited for when it showed up. And there are quite a few stories of anticipation in the Bible. There's quite a few stories of anticipation in the Bible. The entire section leading up to the New Testament is a season of anticipation for the Messiah, which was Jesus, right? Which was Jesus Christ. So the people of Israel were looking forward and anticipating the Messiah. What was he going to look like? What was he going to be like? Was he going to come in on a horse? Like they were expecting a grandiose king, right? To come over and conquer the people that were oppressing them. And there was that anticipation of the coming of Christ. And right, that is why at the Christmas time, we have created a season of anticipation, because it was a time where people were looking towards the anticipation of the Messiah, right? So one of the stories that doesn't get, I feel like it's a significant story of the Bible, but it's one of those that it kind of gets overshadowed by a lot of the other stories at Christmas time. And it's the story of a man named Simeon. So the story of Simeon in the Bible, a lot of you guys may have never even heard of him. And if you have heard of him, it's probably because you've heard me talk about him before, because I find his story fascinating and interesting. So Simeon was a man who was he was an Israelite, and he was looking forward to the coming of the Messiah, right? And at the time, people didn't really know how long that process was going to be. They had been waiting for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, almost 1,000 years at this point, for the coming of the Messiah. So they didn't know when it was going to come, right? And there's this culture of anticipation. And I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but eventually, if you wait long enough for something, you start to just be like, oh, it's never going to happen. Or you just say like, oh, I'll believe it when it happens. Like you kind of get tired of waiting. You get bored of waiting. And I wouldn't blame Simeon if he got to that point, because basically the promise that was made to Simeon, he was told by God that in your life, you will see the Messiah, right? So he had been promised this. He'd been waiting. He is an old man. He's an old man by this point. And he gets to the point where, he's eventually, God tells you something, and you've been waiting your entire life because and he didn't doubt God. He didn't doubt God, but it was basically like, you're going to get to see the Messiah in your lifetime. So this guy, man of faith, believed this to be true, and he daily went to the temple because he knew that that's where the Messiah would eventually come, and he's waiting. So this is in Luke chapter 2. So I'm going to pick up at verse 25. It says, now there was a man in Jerusalem called Simeon, right? Who was righteous and devout. So basically, somebody who's righteous, it means like the root of righteous is right. So he was not right, like opposite of wrong, but like he was a man who did the right thing. He tried to do, like, he was always doing what was best. Like, it's basically saying he was a good man. He followed, when it says righteous, it means he was seen as right before God. When a lot of times when people use the word, he was a righteous man, it meant that before God, God looked at him and was like, he is a right man. He is a right standing with God. So it says he was righteous. So we can assume that he was a guy that did what God wanted. And it said and he was devout, meaning he was faithful. So honestly, if anybody's going to get a good introduction in the Bible, starting off with saying that you are a righteous and devout man, it's a pretty good introduction. So he was waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was on him. It had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not die before he had seen the Lord's Messiah. So then basically he'd been told, like, you're not going to die until you've seen the Messiah. So people of Israel have been waiting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years at this point to see what God is going to do. How is God going to come about and do this? And, we look a lot and we look back at the story of King David. So a lot of people remember David, the one who slayed Goliath, right? David was the one who, the people were dancing in the streets. They had their king that they thought they wanted named Saul. And when David came, they said the song that the people were singing was that Saul had slayed his thousands and David his tens of thousands. So the king's king, right? The big, huge guy that looked like a king, basically they're saying David was 10 times better than that. And they're kind of looking for somebody like that. So he's looking for the Messiah. And then it says, so it says 28, Simeon I skipped ahead. Moved by the Spirit, he went into the temple courts. When the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him what the custom of the law required, Simeon took him in his arms and praised God, saying, Sovereign Lord, as you have promised, you may now dismiss your servant in peace. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared in sight of all nations, a light for revelation to the Gentiles and the glory of your people Israel. Okay, so you guys might not get as excited about this passage as I do. I get it. Sometimes there's just stuff that we really enjoy. And there's a couple things in this passage that really, really stand out to me. It's this moment. There's a couple things, but the first one was Simeon had that moment of like, my life is complete. I have had what happened. I like basically, God, you promised what you had said you were going to do, right? You said that I would see the Messiah in my lifetime. And for me, I kind of look at this and I was like, wait a second. I don't think when Simeon envisioned what seeing the Messiah was going to look like, I don't think he was thinking it was going to be like a young child Messiah. I think when he thought he was going to see the Messiah was that he was going to see, King David status Messiah. But it's that moment of contentment where I don't know if you guys have ever had that, where just like you feel satisfied by something, like you'd been looking forward to something, you get it, and you are just fully satisfied. And he has that sense of satisfaction, like my life is complete. Thank you, thank you. I guess not. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. I'm done. Like my life is done. Like this is worth it. Right. So that sense of contentment. So one of the things that I do personally a lot is, like I said, I do get really excited about things. I do get really amped up about things. But I also have to try my best to like not get my expectations super, super high. So I don't know if you guys ever do this, but like I'll do this with Carolyn too. Like if we're talking about doing something, like I try to set her expectations, even if I am excited. Like I struggle to not communicate it in like a really excited way, but I could be like, okay, I don't know how fun this is going to be, or I don't know how good this is going to be. So don't get your hopes up too much. Right. So I can imagine Simeon, like, this was an exciting thing. Not everybody was told that they were going to see the Messiah in their lifetime. So I'm sure he probably told other people, and they're just thinking, looking at Simeon getting older, and it's like, well, he's getting old. I'm getting old. Like, am I gonna make it? Like, and he just basically says like, okay, God, I'm done. Thanks. Like, I got what I've been waiting for, and I am fully satisfied. Right. So that sense of contentment. But then the other thing that's really important, and this is a thing that was lost on a lot of the Israelites at the time, is this statement that he ends with, is that a lot of people in that season, they were only viewing the Messiah as a savior for the people of Israel, right? He was going to come and save them, right? It was this is about us, this is about me thing, right? But in this story, he ends it with a light for revelation to the Gentiles, right? So he is one of the first times in the New Testament that we hear about the Messiah not just being a man who's going to, or a savior for the people of God, the Israelites, but also that he was going to come and fulfill the righteousness for the Gentiles as well. And basically, Gentiles is the word that they use to describe anybody who wasn't at the time Jewish. So you had the people of Israel who were Jews, and then you have Gentiles, and that was basically how they grouped the two people groups in this area. And he made this statement that a light for revelation to the Gentiles. And it's like, this isn't just something that's going to change things for the people of Israel. And I know one of the things that I'm guilty of at times, and I'm sure you guys have done this before, is we have a tendency to put God into a smaller framework than we should, right? We view God as like, especially right now, we're in this season of COVID, and we're trying to figure out, God, where are you amidst this? People are suffering, people are hurting, and people are dying. And we have a tendency to shrink God into this little tiny COVID box. But we also need to remember to step back a little bit and look at what God is doing in a massive scheme of global history, right? So stepping back, I know one thing is for us and for all people is we have a limited perspective of what is going on, right? And I always share about the fact is that for the majority of us, like myself, my memory didn't start until 1990. Let's say I was 6 years old in 1990, right? So like I don't remember times like the Vietnam War. Like my dad and my mom, they're old enough, they remember times like the Vietnam War, right? And we learn throughout history, we learn about World War II, right? My parents weren't alive during World War II, but their parents were, right? And there's World War I, right? And we have a limited understanding of the time frame of God working, right? And God works outside of time, and he's working outside of eternity, right? And in this moment, Simeon gave us a perspective where he has a much larger view of what God is doing in the world than, I don't want to say than he should have, but that would have been easy for him to justify. He was told that he would see the Messiah in his lifetime. And it would be really easy for an Israelite at the time to think, I am going to see the nation of Israel receive a king that's going to come in power, and we are going to be in charge, right? That would be an easy misconception for him to have. But no, he was able to look back at the promises of God throughout history and see that the glimpse of what the Messiah was going to do was much bigger than just come and give freedom from the government that the people of Israel were under, right? He recognized that the Messiah was going to come and he was going to bring freedom, but not just for the Jews, but for the Gentiles as well. And it gave him, and it was, I don't want to say, well, obviously he was old, so we can say he had a mature perspective, but that was the very not typical thing. Even all throughout Jesus's entire lifetime, this was a battle that he struggled to get people to understand, right? Is that he came to seek and to save the lost, which included the Gentiles, which included all people. So I guess in this story, what I want us to take away from it, and a challenge that I have for you guys, is it's twofold. It's twofold. We are in a season where I know you guys, just like me, we are really excited about what is to come, right? We're ready to be out of this COVID season. We're ready to not have to wear masks. We're ready to be able to gather together whenever we want, where we want to be able to go out and eat whenever we want, right? But my challenge for you guys is, what might God be doing in your life right now outside of COVID, right? And I had to think about this for myself personally, is what would my life look like right now without COVID? And it was just like, I'd probably be hanging out with more people. I'd probably be doing this. I'd probably be doing this. And it was a lot of stuff I wanted to do, right? But there's a verse in scripture where it said, God works all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And one of the things, and one of the mistakes that people frequently make is that people say, well, God made COVID happen, right? And and we don't, as Christians, and my theology and our church theology is, God doesn't make bad things happen. And we're all in agreement that COVID is not a good thing. COVID is a bad thing. But God can take things that are messed up, can take things that are broken, right? Like you and me. Like if we all spend some time and really look at our hearts, we realize that we do have pain. We do have things that are hurting. We do have things that are broken. But God can take these broken things. He can take you and me. He can take COVID and he can bring good things out of it, right? So it's important for us to grieve, right? It's important for us to understand, like, a healthy relationship is not, okay, I'm going to take all of my pain and just sweep it under the rug and pretend it didn't happen, right? That's not what God desires. He wants us to examine what about this is hurting, right? But he also wants us to take it and recognize, okay, what is a blessing that God can bring into my life through this? So I know a lot of you guys have probably spent a lot more time with your families at home than you typically would, right? And for some of you, you're not viewing that as a blessing, right? But my mom is here, and I actually had this conversation with another parent last week, is the reality is the older you get, the smarter and cooler you realize that your parents are. So I don't know if Amy Wozni is here, but I'm sure Tim had a season where he didn't think you were awesome. But now that he's older, we realize that you guys are awesome, right? So what are some of the things that you guys have been experiencing amidst COVID that you're able to say, okay, God didn't make COVID happen, but this is something that God was able to bring into my life amidst this season to help me experience a deeper and more healthy version of what life can be. And we're about to head into I don't know how soon, but we are headed into a time where we're going to be headed back to normalcy. And my challenge for you guys is take those things that God has used in this season to help you grow and to help you become healthy. And how can you take those back into life when it returns to, quote, normal, whatever that might look like, months, 6 months from now, 1 year from now, and apply those and use those. So that's my challenge for you guys. That's it for Restless. So I love you guys. I miss you guys. I hope to see you soon. Next week, movie night, 6:30. Bring your chairs. Bring your friends. It's going to be awesome. I'll send you guys out a link to sign up in RSVP and say that you're coming. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Time Train Your Dragon. It's going to be fantastic. 6:30 next Friday. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Hope to see you soon. See if I can't shoot out the camera. Have a great one. Oh, I got it on the first shot last week, I think. Maybe the second. That one hit, but did. Oh. I don't think I'm going to get it. It's difficult. Oh. It's difficult once I put darts in the way. I can't really get at the camera. Oh, I didn't make it. Everybody out there, it was great to see you. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your entire week. I look forward to seeing you guys next Friday. Bye.